distinguished colleagues, I am Sadiq Suleiman Umar. I represent the good and decent people of Kwara North. Mr. President, I rise to move that the amendment of the standing rules of the Senate pursuant to Order 111 of the Senate Standing Rule 2015 be considered. With me is the powerful deputy of my committee, the Senate leader, Abdullah Yahya Abubakar. Mr. President, the Senate knows that the Senate standing orders were last amended in 2015 to accommodate issues that will make sure orders dynamic to facilitate effective legislative process. The Senate further knows that despite the amendment, there are a number of issues that still require further amendment in response to the emerging developments that make Nigerian democracy, which require enhanced rules of practice and procedure for a sound legislation to tackle such developments. Aware that the development necessitated and has made it imperative to amend the standing orders of the Senate 2015 as amended, occasioned by the split and addition of Senate standing committees by the 8th Senate, and to have their functions and jurisdictions reflect in the standing order of the Senate. Further aware that there also exist some areas in the Senate standing orders that requires amendment to ensure reflection of present realities, smooth running of the Senate, and international best parliamentary practice. Notes that in the face of the standing order, there exists no provision for Order 4 to 8 and numbering errors in Order 95. And also aware that the amendment have been circulated to senators in accordance with Order 111 Rule 2 of the Senate Standing Order. The Senate accordingly resolves to 1. Urge the Senate to consider and approve as it deems fit the proposed amendment to guide the Senate in their legislative deliberations. 2. Resolves into the Committee of the Whole to consider the proposed amendment. And 3. Approves the proposed amendment as contained therein. I so move, Mr. President.
Is timely. But I even thought that you would go further than that to actually return the committees as they were before. Because without apportioning any blame, the political reason why the principal officers of that time used is no longer existing. So, and it's actually portraying the National Assembly in bad light to the public. Reason being that we are sharing these committees, or we are dividing these committees just to satisfy some or to compensate for some support or political thing, which I think is very dangerous. That is why, especially in the House of Representatives of Nigeria as of today, there are always clashes before the supervising ministries, before the supervising agencies. An agency will be called by 3 to 4 committees, which everybody knows that is not the right to do. So I believe this amendment is timely, but I equally thought that as a decent 9th Assembly will be able to amend. But even this is a progress. Let me give you a typical example with the committee I chair, which is tertiary institution and tertiary and third fund. Mr. President, the reason why JAM was under tertiary is because in those years previously, universities of...
Distinguished colleagues, please, let's listen to our colleague, because we have something to to learn and maybe even contribute. So let's listen, please.
Universities set the standard of their entry requirement into the tertiary institution. And all the various tertiary institutions are organizing in their own way. And there was too many problems. There was no standard. And the university then decided to come under one umbrella, which is JAM, Joint Matriculation and Administration, and admission into these various universities. Today, that was the original reason why JAM was created. Today, that same agency is moved under basic education, which does not, that is not where it is belong, because all the thing that it's doing is tertiary, one. Secondly, there is contradiction between what we have here as Senate rules, in the Senate rules, and what is obtained in the House of Representatives. House of Representatives, JAM is under tertiary institution. They supervise the ministry. But here again, the contradiction is that under Senate, we have moved it to basic, which is a contradiction. Thirdly, Mr. President, the notion that because primary institutions, the notion that the institutions, the secondary schools and what have you, basic under those secondary schools, were the one where the source of the revenue of JAM does not hold water at all. It's just like what you are saying with NDDC. NDDC is under Petroleum Ministry. They remit the TED fund money through federal inland revenue. And yet, TED fund is not under Ministry of Petroleum. So it doesn't make sense as far as I'm concerned. So I'm putting this amendment to make sure that we don't contradict ourselves, first with the House of Representatives, which we are supposed to operate in the same line. Second, to make sure that the supervising committees in the National Assembly are made effective by allowing them to do, because it's a contradiction. So many times I attended JAM's meeting. They invite us. We share ways and how to solve so many problems. And I think it will be an anomaly to have JAM under basic education. They have no business being there, other than the fact that if you are going into higher institution, you are going to purchase a form from JAM. But every other thing is handled by JAM. So I think, Mr. President, we better do the right thing here and make sure that we don't bring commotion.
Any other comments, please? Leader of the Senate.
My amendment is on page 2, 2C. On page 2, the clerk, before proceeding with the provisions of paragraph 2D, shall ensure that 2/3 of the senators elect are present. I am suggesting that we change that 2/3 to a simple majority. Reason being, if 37 senators decide to stay away on the day of inauguration, then it means that sitting will not hold. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, sir, my respected colleague, James Manager, Delta South. The inauguration of the Senate, the first sitting of that particular Senate, is an important matter. Very, very important. And going by what we have been seeing and what has even happened elsewhere in Edo State and some other places, we are talking about the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's not a mild matter. It's not a simple matter. We are talking about the first sitting, the inauguration of the Senate. I think 2/3 is good enough.
Yes. Ibikunle Amosun, I represent Ogun Central. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I believe that we should err on the side of caution, Mr. President. Ordinarily, yes, we could say two-thirds is good, but in the climb and in the way we operate, so if maybe 1 plus maybe 1/3 just decide that, okay, we are not coming because we want to stall this, they will succeed. I want to believe that, particularly with our experience, that a simple majority will suffice in this what we are trying to do. Because saying yes, we know it's very important, but people, the way we are, just to get maybe 1/3 plus maybe just one, and that's the end of story. But if you say simple majority, I think that should be in order, sir. That's my suggestion. Simple majority.
Distinguished colleagues, at the rate we are going, I don't think we can finish this in today. So I will advise that we can make contributions, but maybe we need to also make some progress. There are two arguments here. One is 2/3. That is what is recommended by the committee, that we need 2/3 before the inauguration takes place. And the argument is that first day to elect presiding officers is so important that you should have 2/3 to be present. And there is a counter argument that if that becomes the law, some people could decide to ensure that the inauguration or elections never take place that day. So all they will need to do is not only not to come, but prevent others from coming to stall the election of presiding officers or even the inauguration of the Senate. I think the two arguments are clear here. Each one is really convincing, but I think we need to be careful, because it's much, much easier for someone or some people to frustrate the inauguration. So those who are preaching that are saying, why not simple majority? This simple majority could be composition of many people. So I will maybe put the question on the amendment. If you vote against the amendment proposed by, who proposed it initially? Simple majority, Senator Binosia Rododa, that simple majority is enough. If you vote yes, that is as amended. If you vote nay, then we leave what is here, that you need 2/3 majority before the election of presiding officers can take place. Am I clear? Exactly. That's what I said. No, please. We have two issues. Let's take these two first, please. DSP.
Thank you, Mr. President. Clearly, I think that there is merit to both arguments. My mic is on, I'm sorry. Ovi Omo Agege, Delta Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I'm beginning to feel there's merit to both arguments. So I was going to suggest that for those of us who may elect, in fact, who will elect to go for 2/3, that we should put a caveat that in the event that this fear, comes to reality, then we shall revert back to simple majority for the purposes of the election of principal officers.
That will be too complicated.
Yes. No, the very first day. If on the first day, while we are here, it becomes clear to those who are here and the clerk of the Senate that there's a move to frustrate the election of principal officers because of lack of that quorum of 2/3. Yes, because of the lack, excuse me, I have the floor. Because of lack of that quorum. If it becomes clear that quorum is not there, that 2/3 quorum is not there, then the principal officers can be elected based on simple majority. Thank you, Mr. President.
What we are doing here is very sensitive. My amendment, I'm just trying to lay foundation for my amendment. Okay. My amendment is simple majority that is based on at least two-third representation across the country. So that we don't have a situation where 10 or 20 people from one section of the country will determine a state president. That will lead to chaos.
Well, an amendment, I will need a seconder. Any seconder? No seconder. So, distinguished colleagues, we are going to order 3. Order 3 on page 2. Those in favor that order 3 stand part of the rules, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Order 4. Order 4. Yes, I'm coming. On page 7, sitting of the Senate, language. Order 4 is on page 7. So are you, order 4? Order 4? No, we are on order 4. Yes. Those in favor that order 4, the language, stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 5, quorum, and it's retained, just like we use it in our standing orders. There is no change. Those in favor that order 5, stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 6, seat of senators retained. Order 6, on page 8. Okay.
An amendment I will cut across is about the use of gender language.